indeed a pleasure for me to welcome you all here. Mr. Rakesh Verma, Mr. Puneet Vatsai, Mr. Ajay Srivastava, Mr. Manipal Dhariwal, and the Mr. Pratap also. I'm very happy to be associated with Vicky. I happen to have joined this recently after having done a long stint with economic times. And this happens to be the first initiative along with TIE. We will be having many more such events. The idea is to focus on the emerging markets, the IT industry, which has seen a phenomenal growth over the last couple of years, and the prospects of the industry in the near future. We also thought that we will have this session in view of the forthcoming union budget, which is on March 16th. Perhaps that will also give us an indication as to what is the industry's view on the forthcoming budget and what are the expectations. I will now request Mr. Puneet Vatsai to take over the charge and moderate the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for making it over the holy long weekend on a session IT industry and its growth prospects in the region. This is a topic that's been hanging around this region for the last 7-8 years. It is a topic of great interest to a lot of people. It's also a topic where lots has been done. It's also an area where lots needs to be done. It's also an area where lots of opportunity has been missed. At the same time, it's been an area where a lot of opportunity has been gained. So it depends on which side you are. And on the panel, we have a very distinguished set of panelists. To my right is Rakesh Verma. He's an IS officer. He's the managing director for Punjab Infotech and has had long innings at Punjab Infotech, making a difference and trying to put Punjab on the IT map of India. On my left is Ajay Srivastava. Ajay is the center head of STPI and last couple of years has been working very proactively both with the government and the industry to put the region up on the map. On my right is Manipal Dhariwal. Manipal runs NetSmarts and CBIZ. Manipal originally is from this region, moved to the US and moved back from Rochester, and now shuttles time between Rochester and India, building his many businesses. We are still missing Pratap. Pratap should be here in another 10-15 minutes. Pratap again is probably the oldest in the IT industry here, moved back from the US, set up IDS and has scaled up. So the way we thought we will do this session is make it very interactive, just given the interest in the topic. And I, being the moderator, get to start off by asking questions to all the three panelists right now on the dais, and then we'll just open it up. My first question obviously goes to Rakesh, given his long stints in the government. My question to you, sir, is lots has been said about the industry. Are we there yet? You think you will see the next generation of companies emerge, and do you think in the next 2-3 years we will be a 10th of Bangalore in terms of new ventures, startups, revenues, and what the government will do about it? Sir.
Thank you, Puneet, and good morning, everyone. I think we aren't yet there. We've got a lot of potential, there's no doubt about it, and the potential could be a much bigger share than what you mentioned about Bangalore and others. However, what we've been at it for quite some time, there could have been a later start, there could have been a number of issues, but the fact remains the state and the region cannot afford to ignore the IT industry. You know, the kind of potential it has, the kind of futuristic implications it has. Where we currently are, I think STPI does monitor this region's growth, the revenue and everything. So we stand at 1500 crores as things stood last financial year, which is less than 1% of our national turnover. So not a very happy situation. However, there has been consistent growth if you look at the turnover from the region. Today, the industry, the nationwide, it stands something like 67 billion US dollars. 2020, the target is about 225 US billion dollars, comprising of about $50 billion of domestic industry and 175 of the export industry. There is no reason why this particular region, our state of Punjab, should not have a fair, what we estimate as a fair share is about 2% of that national turnover, because our share of population is about 2%. What it takes to get there of 2% share is plenty of factors. We've already seen a lot of good things happening in the region. If you look at technical education, if you look at engineering colleges, if you look at universities, that's the kind of raw material which supplies fuels this industry. There's been a tremendous growth, there's been a tremendous development, and that's a very happy thing to happen to the region. Today we are getting students from all over country, we are training them, we are exporting them from this place. Quality may be an issue, however, sooner than later, the market forces and the government's effort are going to really take care of it. So one fundamental for the growth has, I would say, is duly taken care of. The second issue which has been lingering is where is the infrastructure, where is the IT parks, where are the, this industry requires very quality business infrastructure. Somewhere we've been lacking in that. But if you look at the recent Gamada announcement of 2,000 acre of ITCT, they've acquired the land is with them. So very long overdue problem has been sorted out. We are also acquiring 400 acres land in Mohali. So we've got a good amount of human resources available. We've got this infrastructure and land issue sorted out. Our perception across the country, we need to do a lot really to market ourselves well. We need to build a good brand for the state. That positive perception in the minds of investors will go a long way to take us forward. As Puneet said, 10% of Bangalore or 15% is not an issue. We see a lot of activities happening in terms of new startups, in terms of new business entities setting up, in terms of new ideas coming from the region, and TAI and others have a great role to play. They're already catalyzing the environment, and that's also will build bottom-up pressure to develop the region. I think another key ingredient that we look at is to bring another set of anchor players in this region. Emphasis is there, probably they need a much bigger presence. Plus some of the other key players, the top 10 players, probably they need to have a strong presence in this region to give a solid base to the industry. So I'm very hopeful that in times to come, we will have a good share of IT knowledge industry in this region. We will benefit from it, and we will emerge as one of the strong focal point. Thank you.
If I just may take a follow-on question to you, sir. While you are proactively going out and seeking anchor players, I think there are a number of people in this room that I am aware of that for whatever reasons have moved back and have set up startups here. They've moved back from UK and the US. There's one company in the financial services sector that's applied for a number of global patents. The question is, where do they go to? What are their options? Is there a single place where they can go and get this issue sorted out? And I speak for a number of people that
I fully agree. In fact, when I talk to some of these companies which have a smaller presence in Mohali, they're saying business is not a problem. You can get as much business in Mohali as possible. However, our growth options are very limited in Mohali. The kind of infrastructure we've been able to provide. We've got LTOP, that electronic township, 270 acres. However, the policies there are again, we are responsible for it. We're trying for the last 1 year to really redo the policies there, the zoning regulations, the infrastructure and everything. If that happens, it will open up that piece of area in a big way. Apart from that, we probably need a much different approach, and that's where the new ITCT, which Gamada is planning, the new 400 acres that we are planning, will provide to some extent these growth opportunities. In terms of from the government side, Punjab Infotech, yes, we would do that hand-holding. We would take you around. We will try and address all your queries. So whatever that single window would mean to anyone, we will very sincerely try and enact that. We will try and help you out. So I think for anyone who is in this room or otherwise trying to seek help, you are most welcome. We will be with you. We will try and support you, whatever may be required. And setting up your business, and expanding your business, and supporting your business. So Punjab Infotech, to me, could be taken as your single point of contact, as your single window. Whatever it is, we can help you.
So that's good to know, sir. So at least for some of the startups here, look out for Rakesh right after this, if you have not met him already. Manipal, a question for you. You've now been in the city for what, 5-6 years?
No, almost 10 plus.
10 plus years, I stand corrected. From the time you set up base here and you and your brother started looking at options outside of Rochester, and obviously Chandigarh was right there. What have you seen change on the ground in the 10 years that you've been here?
Good morning.
Because I think you'll probably be the right person to offer that comment to.
Sure, let me try. Good morning, everybody. Actually, answering this question, we chose this area in 2001. Now, I believe, more or less, the IT industry at that point in this region was virtually non-existent. Actually, Pratap was there, ideas, there's emphasis in some form, and there was Squawk, I believe.
Yeah.
So there's really not much beyond that. So I truly believe that the IT industry in this region is actually about a decade old. And we chose this region. I am also an NRI, I've lived abroad most of my life. I actually grew up in Africa and then we were in the United States after that. We chose this region for Punjab because we figured that if we're going to set up an IT company, then let's do it in our home state rather than in any other part of this country. The choice would have been much easier if we had gone to, say, Bangalore, Delhi, or the Bombay area, because infrastructure, people, the fundamentals were all in place. So, having chosen this area, we realized that there was no infrastructure at that time. There was one ISP, one internet service provider. So we took up office space right next to the ISP so we could have a direct link. There were no people in the sense that talent would not stay back. People were looking for opportunities in the rest of India, or they would move out and they would go abroad. P2 was just starting out, so there were actually, you had Beck, FAPA, and some of the regional engineering colleges. So our industry is people, IT industry as we all recognize. So there were actually not many people to hire, so we had to bring people from outside. So 90% of the people we would end up recruiting were from outside and 10% from here. So those challenges were there. Now, sort of reflecting back 10 years ahead, if you look at it, I think most of those issues have been addressed and the fundamentals are in place. So yes, we took our chances because of our emotional connect with the region and belief that this area will eventually come together, because I think the basics are in place. And in the last 10 years, I've seen that now we have, I think, 100 odd P2 engineering colleges. There's ISB that is about to set up, and there is an IIT that's in the state. No doubt that the quality of education is an area that needs to be addressed now, so that's the next phase. But we have people. Infrastructure, I think at least there are 3 odd IT parks now, recognized IT parks that are in place. So at least the fundamentals are there. We have half an airport, so I think the airport's also kind of coming. So I think the basics are in place. We feel happy about our decision. We had to rough it out, but we were committed to the cause. I think it's much easier for those of us who come in now, and I think there's great potential over here. But I do feel that there's a lot more that can be done for sure. But it's a lot better than what it was 10 years back. And it is Chandigarh's turn now, I think, because the Bangalore's, Pune, they've had their right.
And so Manipal, other than marketing and sales, what are your biggest challenges today operating out of this region?
you must have heard many others say this, some basics in the sense, I talked about the half airport. I mean, we definitely need that airport. I really don't see why it's taking so long. We should have our airport so that we can have better connectivity with the rest of the world. The quality of education needs to be worked on. So there's still, in terms of highly qualified resources, it's still a little bit of a challenge when you talk about more experienced resources. Although we have people now considering this area, people, Punjabis around the world and in other parts of the country, when they're coming back from vacation, they actually recognize that, okay, at least this is an emerging area. So that's getting a little better, but nevertheless, that's still a challenge, but a lot better than before.
Right. Thanks, Manipal. My next question goes to Ajay. Ajay, two sets of questions for you. One, you are the custodian, official custodian for all numbers in terms of the growth of the IT industry. So one, where are we? What is the growth rate that you are seeing? And two, now that we don't have tax benefits that come out of STPI, how are you still, and I know some of the good work that you guys are planning to do, so how are you going to still engage with the IT industry and make a difference, both here and nationally?
Morning, everybody. In fact, if you see the last decade growth, we have started from 7.7 crores in year 98-99, and we are now last year is 1565 crores. So the last decade was really successful, and I am very optimistic for this coming financial year also, because if you see the national expectation of growth of IT is somewhere around 11 to 14%, and if you see the figure of up to December this financial year, we already have a growth of around 20%. So again, I expect in this financial year the growth of 20%, so we can somewhere kind of come around 1800 crores for this Tri-City region. So in fact, this is the year where you don't have the tax exemption from STPI, and then still IT is growing. So what I feel is tax exemption is not the criteria for the growth of the IT. Passion, it's the entrepreneurial skill and the mentor of the senior people that's drive the real entrepreneurship. The other thing is, if you see, we have a target of about $2.25 billion by 2020, of which around 80% of the business is going to come from the new areas. So that's the claim. So what we have done in the last 10 years is going to be different than what we are going to do in the coming 10 years. So there will be new areas coming up, there will be new technologies coming up, and we have to gear up to that level. For that, what I think is we should have a concentration on the 3 I's, that is idea, innovation, and incubation. Somebody may ask you why still we need an incubation at this stage of point of time, where we have grown to such a big industry. The answer is we need incubation to create a different environment where the people can collaborate and work for the innovation and ideas. Because these two areas will drive the growth for the next 10 years. And as far as the stand of this place is, it's very hard to say. Every time we compare our growth with Bangalore and Tier 1 division, we are among the first 2 in Tier 2 city. So it's a credit goes to all of us. It's credit goes to credit goes to the entrepreneurs who started here in 10 years back, who have put in a lot of effort to bring this region up to this level. So of course we should see Bangalore and Pune as a sunshine, but we should not shadow our growth also. So I think that's my thank you.
Thanks, Ajay. Another question that keeps coming wherever we go is human resource. Earlier, the question was we did not have adequate human resources. We were not producing enough engineers. We solved that problem. Now we're producing too many. Now the issue is, are those engineers trained? Do they have the adequate skills to fit into the industry? So the question to the three panelists here are, what is both the government and the industry doing that the engineer graduating has the skills and is industry ready? That's one. And two, of the folks graduating out of Punjab or out of this region, how many are, or a rough percentage, if you will, even if it is empirical or anecdotal, are getting jobs in the region, and how many act as leaders and they go outside and get jobs?